Welcome to the WealthGenius podcast, brought to you by the Expand Wealth Real Estate Fund. Expand your wealth by investing in apartment buildings. Go to expandwealthfund.com to book your info session. The WealthGenius podcast, strategies for multifamily real estate investing, mindset, community, success. The WealthGenius podcast with your host, the godfather of real estate, Alfonso, who has expansive experience in business and massive success as a real estate investor. The WealthGenius podcast. Let's dive into today's episode.
Oh my God, we're live. Jennifer, what's going on?
Not too much. How about yourself?
Oh my goodness, we're here. You're finally on the podcast.
Yes.
Hopefully now this will encourage you to follow the podcast. No, I
Potentially.
get it. I get it. Life is busy. Life is busy, and you got a lot of things going on. Real estate, building, mortgages, and how do you do it all? Like what do you have some special water in here? Like, what's going on? Because someone would say it's a lot.
Yes, I would say my life is very full. I think the easiest way to describe it is that I love it all. So a lot of it doesn't feel like work. Having conversations with people about mortgages, how to build their wealth, how to refinance, put money back in properties. I could talk about it all day, every day, in between raising two little humans. Wow,
that's probably the best, the biggest acquisitions.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of maintenance, but it's definitely worth it in the end. So look, I'm always inspired by your story. I know your story very well. We've been friends for a while, but I think our audience deserves to hear a little bit about Jennifer Champion and how you got here. You know what I mean? Like, I know you didn't start here. You did share with me how much your mom was kind of not a risk taker. So, how did all this happen?
Yeah. So when I was really young, my parents always built our homes. My grandpa was a finishing carpenter. So they were building their houses and then selling them and moving on, never keeping rentals or anything like that. And then when my husband and I got together, we decided our first house was going to be a 1970s original split level, but it was an amazing neighborhood. It had probably like 2-inch tall green shag carpet, lavender bathroom.
Oh, it's special.
Oh, it was original, but it was great because it was untouched. No one had done anything Mickey Mouse to it, anything like that, right? And I'm like, I can see it. He's like, you can? I'm like, I can see it. He's like, well, I trust you. So we bought that house, redid it, refinanced it, and made more money in that refinance than both him and I did in our government jobs. And so, of course, I'm like, how do we do this again? He's like, again? He's like, I'm tired.
You got the bug.
Yeah. And at that point, no one in our social circle was doing anything like that, right? One, let alone the next one. And so I ended up meeting a realtor who was from New Brunswick. And of course, coming from like a BC market where, you can't buy a house for under $1 million, to looking at the New Brunswick market where, I could buy a duplex for $20,000 down.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought it was a scam.
Can't be true.
Yeah.
Too good to be true.
Yeah. I actually said to Seth, I was like, worst case scenario.
And what year was this?
So that was in January of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right before the world changed.
Yes.
You bought one, or you were looking into buying one?
So we were looking and then put one under contract, and we were supposed to close like March 16th, 2020. Wow. And the world was literally closing. Yeah. Got a call from the financing institution. We can't fund your loan today. We're moving people home. We don't know when we can fund. I'm like, well, if you don't know, who knows? And what do you tell a seller? And of course, this was my first one, right? I'm already nervous, like BC to New Brunswick. I had never been to see it, right? Everything was done virtually. Yeah, already.
And this was a duplex.
Yeah.
And what was going on with the family dynamic? Like, how did you share this with them? is this something that was encouraged? Like, what was going on?
Seth was the only person that knew what I was doing.
So you're keeping this little dark secret.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that the reason you're keeping this secret because you don't want to be judged or you don't want to be discouraged. And maybe something in your mind says, okay, I don't want to like put myself out there and then it doesn't work out. And then like, you know, everybody's going to say, I told you so.
I think I was battling my own inner self-doubt, right? I kept going back to my spreadsheet. I'm like, the numbers work. This makes sense. But of course, I had never done anything like that. Other side of the world, now it's shutting down. I'm like, is this a sign? Am I not supposed to do that? And then within that, you know, when all of that was happening, my mom moved in with us to help because my daughter was only 18 months. Seth and I were both still working for the government, but we'd pulled her out of daycare because we didn't know what was happening, right? And so
March 16th, like that was deep into it. Like we didn't know what was going on.
No, I worked for the government at the time in communications.
Yeah.
We did not know what was going on.
Didn't it feel like a movie?
Yeah.
It was like some bad, horrible, like,
Seth was coming home from the grocery store, like, in the back door, through the laundry room, taking his clothes off. Like, you just had no idea, right? We weren't the, like, washing our groceries type of people, but we also had an 18-month-old daughter.
Yeah, you can't take risks.
No.
Especially when you don't know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my mom moved in. Risk adverse. Of course, I wasn't telling her anything. So I was literally taking phone calls from lawyers and realtors in my bathroom.
Wow.
Just to like keep it contained to myself. And then, 3 months later, did a fourplex. 2 months later, did another fourplex.
Okay, hold on. So March 16th, so at what point did this first deal close?
The first few weeks of April. Yeah.
Okay,
and the seller was understanding. They knew. No one knew, right?
Well, you know, there was those 2 weeks, and I would have to say everything was like weird. And then it was like April 2nd, and I can almost remember to the day I woke up and I'm like, everything's going to be all right. Like, we're all going to be okay here, you know? And, you know, then I started to realize the massive opportunity that we have in front of us because everybody right now is basically living in fear. Mm-hmm. And they're glued to the television, you know, waiting to see what Trump is going to say, what Trudeau's going to say, what your premier is going to say, what the mayor is going to say. Yeah. And my wife and I decided to take massive action. So, you know, you were in that camp of people taking action. You were not a spectator. So your first deal, April 4th, then how long did it take to buy your second deal?
Yeah, so the second one was in June and the third one was in July.
Action.
Yeah, so 10 doors in like 3 months.
Yeah. And New Brunswick, you know, and people might think, oh, you must have had a crystal ball because like everything just went like through the roof in New Brunswick. And so what was that like?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, you know, again, coming from BC and going to New Brunswick, even just how you could serve notice and like increase rents, like it just felt like the wild, wild west out there compared to BC where we're so strict on what we're allowed to do with tenants and everything. And then rents just kept going up. There was so much demand. It was, you know, when I was doing the duplexes and the fourplexes, it was kind of easy to like find places, buy them. Then there was getting to be a lot of competition. So we moved out into a sub-market and ended up, I think it was like early 2021, did a portfolio purchase in Bathurst. Yeah. And that was when we met.
Wow.
Yeah. Sitting in a driveway.
It was, and I still remember, like, you know, I think you were doing some sort of construction or you were
building
doing
a duplex in Souk. Yeah, I was out there painting.
Yeah, and then you snuck in and we had those conversations, and you know everything was virtual. You know, I think it wasn't until 2023 that we actually met in person.
Yeah.
Wow, and it feels like you're my sister. Like it feels like I know you for so long, and of course you've supported the team, and we've traveled, and no, I really respect and admire you. You went to New Brunswick before things started to explode there, and it's so funny how the population just moves. It's like it's like waves, right? And now the wave has come here to Alberta, and you're like, I know this, you know. So you decided to like pack up your life in BC, and come to Edmonton. Why?
I mean, it's definitely more than just real estate for sure. It is great to be here. It's a great real estate community, and you know, being able to have that as part of something we like offer our investment partners, like going to the projects, taking photos, sending them
boots
to
on
them.
the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. Like eyes, not relying on other people. But you know, my husband and I are both born and raised in Victoria, 2 small kids, and I mean, probably him less than me, but like I was just craving something like bigger, right? Being in that hustle and bustle. So in June of 2024, we came out here to look at some of our project sites, and it's like, it's a different vibe.
There's an energy.
Like
There's
people are
energy.
here to make money and do things.
Yeah.
Living on Vancouver Island, they'll do things in like 3 months or something like that.
Well, I mean, they got that nice weather.
Yeah, they're always in the ocean.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They got it. You know what? You can't, you don't want to put too much effort. But if you're in Edmonton, you're right. You're here to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one wants to be at minus 40 weather. Like, nobody does that on purpose, right? And so, you know, and plus it's a beautiful city, gorgeous people, everything. But you're definitely right. Like there's an energy here that I don't feel in like every single part of Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been really rewarding, even just, you know, being able to talk to more builders, talk to more investors, talk to, you know, other real estate investors as well. It's been really rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing here? What are the deals that you got going on?
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of like the 6s, 8s, 10s. So they, basically took their zoning for single family lots right now. And as long as it's large enough, you can do like a 6 or an 8 unit. And I think they actually just amended it. So now you can do 8 and a 10 on a corner lot. So we're really utilizing that and doing it through CMHC MLI Select.
So you took the bull by the horns. You moved here, moved the whole family.
Yeah.
Not easy. But in I think in from a different perspective, you know, if you didn't have that support system, sometimes, you know, moving to a whole new location, maybe not even Edmonton, just a whole new city, new people, and then now you're more conscious and more intentional about the friendships that you build and the peers that you have, versus, you know, I can speak this because I came from a neighborhood back home where everybody was doing nothing. It was up to nothing. And if I would have stayed in that particular neighborhood, I would be like everybody else. I had to move out of that neighborhood, move away from those people where I can meet new people and be inspired by new people. And, you know, in many cases, it can be lonely, but it also can be like refreshing because it's like, oh, wow, I got these new people that I didn't even know before. Like us, we know each other for like, what, 4 years max? Yeah, about 4 years. I feel like I know you for like 10, 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. And because it's like we've traveled together, we've gone to all these events, and you know, you've been on all our stages, and so I guess the relationships can grow faster, and they're more meaningful and they're intentional. Mm-hmm. Versus just like you're with this person because you met them in kindergarten, and they're your best friend, and I'm not saying that's like a specific reason thing for you, but you talked about your social circles where no one was doing this, and they probably still think you're an outcast.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. I would say, you know, and people always wonder like, oh, how have you done it and stuff like that, but like props go to Seth, who is home taking care of our kids and allowing me like the space to go out and have these conversations, go on the road with you, definitely fulfill my goals and that like ambition I have of being an entrepreneur. That is not how he is made. And, you know, when we first started to, you know, get into real estate, we had that conversation, right? It was, okay, if we're going to do this, who's going to be at the front and who's going to be at home with our kids? Because we wanted someone to be that stable parent, right?
I love that so much. And I feel that, you know, there's always going to be that conversation with a lot of families. with Helene and I, for example, we had that conversation, but I kind of came built this way. You know what I mean? Did you always have like, were you like industrious as a kid? Like, were you like an entrepreneur, like always, or was it like something sparked in you and then you're like, okay, this is not what I want to do and I want to do this?
Yeah, so I opened my first business when I was 21. I opened a nail salon, and then
that I didn't know.
Oh, really?
We're finding out things on the show. You see why I love the show?
Yeah. Opened a nail salon. Definitely out of character, being like.
Well, what attracted you to that in the first place?
Okay, so I had always been into sports. I went on a 3-quarter ride scholarship to Niagara Falls University in Buffalo, New York, to play field lacrosse. And that was the first time.
So you were an athlete?
Yes. Yes. That was the first time I had ever gotten nails done, was when I was away at college. And then my mom got them done. And when I came home, I was on a wait list for my business administration course. And then I decided to take the nail course just like off on a whim. And I think like the level of efficiency I have and attention to detail, I was like, okay, how can I do this in the shortest amount of time while being efficient? And then it was just like built my clientele, no problem, because people were like, you can do this in 45 minutes. I was like, sure, let's go.
Yeah.
And yeah, like opened it with the support of my mom, which is funny because risk adverse, but just like believed in me, and then built it out to lashes, bought a distribution company, ship products worldwide.
Hold on, Jennifer. You never ever even mentioned this in any of our conversations. That was like a legitimate like business that you had. Like you weren't just doing nails, you had infrastructure.
Grew it into,
yeah, employees and you had did you have more locations?
No, just one location. And then I had girls like renting tables and everything. And then I had someone working for me doing the distribution part of it.
And what happened?
COVID.
Oh, so this was, okay. So this is not, that was that recent.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I had gone to work for the government, and basically the business was running. And then when COVID hit, and because I was working for the government and basically no one knew what was going on, I'm like, how long am I just going to stay closed and keep paying rent? And, my mom's like, oh, well, what's your other option? I was like, I have to give notice. I was like, this has to end. I was like, we have no end in sight. Coming from like the provincial government standpoint, I'm like, I can't just be throwing thousands of dollars away a month with no end in sight, right? So what I did was I closed the salon portion, and then I still had the distribution in our house because you just need somewhere to store product, right? And so we were still shipping. And then when I got into real estate and saw like what you could do with real estate, I was like, it's time. I only have 24 hours in a day, right? I had to reprioritize. Yeah.
And so when you closed it, did you have plans on coming back to that business?
No.
So you said this is the end of that chapter in my life.
Yeah.
And then the new chapter was you didn't know what you were going to do exactly, but you knew you wanted it more real estate related. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I had done nails so COVID was 2020, so 5 years ago. So I'd already done like nails and everything for like 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a very similar story because I did clothing for about 13 years. And, someone came and bought me out.
Okay.
But I was just like, okay, that part of my life is done. And
Yeah.
I think I had done everything that I wanted to do in that space.
Yeah.
And I was ready for a new chapter, a new journey. Mm-hmm. And, I was already doing real estate. So I decided to lean into it, 100%. So I love that I just learned that about you, nails, and, I don't know, my nails are horrible.
That's the first thing people always do is look at their own nails.
Yeah, because now I'm self-conscious. I'm like, oh my God, she's a pro. But, so if someone's listening to this, okay, what would you tell them if they're just getting started or they're sitting on that fence, or they're having that situation where they're trying to make a decision on whether or not they're going to move forward in a big way. Like anybody can invest into a couple of properties, but you've leaned into this. Like, you're in it full time, 100%. You've moved locations, to make sure that you can be better at it. And so you're all in, and there's someone out there right now thinking, well, maybe they're struggling. Maybe maybe they don't have a supportive spouse. What would you say to that person?
Find the meetups, find the communities, and find the events, and get in that atmosphere and that feeling as often and as frequently as you can.
I love it. I mean, your people's lives are a direct reflection of the expectations of their peer groups. Change your peer groups and change your life. So that I would say that would be the very first step. And then what about getting your spouse on board?
Yeah, so I don't know about the unsupportive. Seth was always supportive. His first question was, how much time of mine is this going to take? I'm like, I don't think it has to take any of your time. Like, this is what I think we should be doing. Like, these are the numbers. Like, I think I can do this. He's like, okay. And then he would see a refinance, and he's like, oh. He's like, so this is working? I'm like, this is working. Yeah. And then I basically had to allot a Lego budget into a project. So he got to buy his Lego. I got to buy real estate. Yeah, everyone was happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a challenge, right? If the spouse is not on board, and then you're dragging someone or hiding something from someone.
Yeah.
It's such a shame too, because real estate is there for everybody, or just entrepreneurship period. And, whether it be a spouse or a wife or a husband that says, you know what, let's go step by step, be careful or whatnot. But if someone can believe in you, then you become unstoppable, because it's not only that, you have that accountability. This person is believing in me. I better show up,
Yeah, I think that's the, show up. If you have someone who doesn't believe in you, then show them.
Yeah.
Right? Your actions speak louder than words. Yeah. I mean, that's the same in
partnerships,
anything that we go into, right? Yeah. You say X, but you don't do it.
Yeah. With Helene, I try to get her to leave the job for so long, and then finally left the job. And a year later, there was COVID. I'm like, don't worry, I got you. And then, who would have known? Who could have predicted that, right?
Absolutely.
And we kind of had to pivot, and, it was a scary time. But I remember having that weight on my shoulders. She had a career, she was very successful. I lead her in her field, and I'm like, don't worry about that, and, come and join me on the real estate side. So, no, I love that. So, Jennifer, thank you for coming and sharing that story with me.
Yeah.
And, you're doing mortgages now. So before we wrap it up, I want to know about your mortgage business, which is, we didn't really give it enough airtime, but what's going on with the mortgages?
Yeah, so I think it's really important, when you are going into acquisitions, that you're working with an investor-focused mortgage broker, so that they understand what it means when you have a deposit on the line. They understand closing dates,
pressure.
that it's not a flexible date, it's a hard date, right? Mm-hmm. And, just strategy of how to, yes, do that loan, but what about the next one and the next one and the next one? And right now, CMHC MLI Select is a very attractive product. So we really focus on underwriting that for clients, so they know that building is going to qualify when they go to CMHC and are building those products.
Love it. Jennifer Champion. She is the champion of many things. You got to connect with her. So all your information will be available in the show notes. Before we wrap it up, what's a quote or a mantra, something that you live by, that you can leave with our audience?
I always say, but did you die?
I love that. What's the worst case scenario? Are you still alive? Mm-hmm. You're good.
Yeah.
So thank you. Alfonso loves you. That's the show. We'll see you at the top. Woo! Let's go.
The WealthGenius Expand Investor Conference is coming to the Lux Convention Center in Mississauga this October 31st through November 2nd, 2025, with over 50 speakers, 100 vendors, and over 1,000 in attendance. This is the premier real estate investor conference that you do not want to miss. Hosted by the godfather of real estate, Alfonso Quadra. Expand Investor Conference, October 31st through November 2nd, 2025. Get your tickets at eventbrite.ca, and we'll see you at the top.